Hey, good morning, it's Owen, Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Well, we got another bombshell announcement about 10 days ago, this one from the federal government on new mortgage requirements. Effective this past Monday, October 17th, all high ratio borrowers, which is a down payment of less than 20%, will have to qualify for a new mortgage stress test. And rather than locking in a 5-year rate at 2.65%, they will have to qualify at a 5-year non-discounted rate, which is at about 4.65. So a substantial difference in affordability there. Give you an example, a guy who could qualify for a $600,000 mortgage last week, as of now, can only qualify for about $520,000. So this could have a pretty strong effect, especially for first-time buyers, and it might have an effect on that condo market, which, as I said in several posts last month, the new foreign buyers tax has had an effect on detached properties, especially higher-end stuff, over $3 and $4 million, but hasn't had much of an effect on studios, one-bedrooms, one-and-dens. So we'll see what happens here. The federal government knows, as I've known for a long time, that the main driver of this ultra-hot Vancouver and Toronto market is cheap money, low interest rates, historic, never seen before interest rates. Sure, foreign buyers have had a bit of an effect on the market, the crashing of the Canadian dollar this past spring, but it's the cheap mortgages that are really driving this market. I did a blog about 7 or 8 weeks ago, and I told my viewers to just do a little bit of homework here and go to a website called calculator.net. Click on their mortgage calculator. The great thing about this website is their mortgage calculator will give you a full amortization table. So you plug in the mortgage amount, the interest rate, the term, and it will break down over 25 years your principal to interest payment. And it's incredible. Do yourself a favor and just go on there for 5 minutes and tinker around with a few numbers, and you'll see what I mean. I can't express it here in words. But to give you an example, I was selling Yaletown condos back in 2007 at $400,000 for a one-bedroom. Interest rates are at 6.2%. Today, that same one-bedroom Yaletown condo I'm selling for $600,000, but the interest rates are a third. They're at 2.1%. That Yaletown condo today is cheaper, affordability-wise, than it was in 2007 because of this cheap money right now, these record low interest rates. But the even crazier thing is what it does when you look at the amortization tables. Go on to calculator.net. Back in 2007, it was going to take you until about year 15 years into the mortgage, based on 6.2%, before your payment, annual payment, the principal was equal to what you were chipping off your interest payment was equivalent to what you were chipping off in principal every year. Today, you're paying more principal off right from year one. When I started investing in real estate 25 years ago, I was well into double-digit mortgages. I can tell you that it wasn't until year 17 or 18 was my break-even point, where I was finally, if I was paying $10,000 a year on my mortgage, $5,000 was going to interest and $5,000 was going to principal. After buying a unit after 10 years, I can tell you that if you bought a unit and took a $300,000 mortgage, after 10 years, you'd barely put a dent in that principal. You've been paying those mortgage payments for 10 years and you took your mortgage down from $300 down to $285. Today, you're doing massive damage to the principal right from year one. And that is the driver of this. The federal government realizes that. They know that interest rates aren't coming up anytime soon. So let's stress test these mortgages at a much higher rate so that when their interest rates eventually do go up, these people aren't going to be going into foreclosure. So go on to calculator.net. I'm telling you, do your homework with it and you'll see what I mean with where this market is right now. It's cheap money, and that's all that's driving it. It's the same reason that I bought several units last year that I added to my portfolio, investment units. The numbers still make sense. When you put down 20% and can lock in a 3-year term at 2.1%, you put 20% down, you can buy a one-bedroom unit, rent it to a tenant, well-qualified tenant for $2,000 a month. you're going to have income on that property. As a matter of fact, your tenant will be paying down everything, your interest, your principal, your maintenance fees, and your property taxes with 20% down. So we'll see where this stress test and what these new mortgage requirements do down the road. One last thing I want to point out to you, I have over the last couple of weeks seen the inventory levels slowly starting to creep up, ever so slowly. More listings are coming out. Say for instance you get 100 sales or 100 new listings today, only 60 or 70 sales. So that inventory level is slowly building. This may be the catalyst to increase that ratio from sales to new listings. But it could also go the other way, and I'll give you an example. I've had a couple that I've been talking with over the summer. They're in a 1-bedroom and den unit. They want to sell that unit and upgrade to a 2-bedroom or a 2 and den. Up until last week, they were qualified for up to a $700,000 mortgage to upgrade to this larger unit. Today, they're not. With the mortgage rates now, it's now taken them out of that 2-bedroom range. So we've left it where they're probably just going to stay on the sidelines for now. And I think there will be some of that moving forward. People that wanted to sell this fall or this winter and upgrade to a bigger unit, but can't do it now because what they want to buy is out of their range with these new mortgage requirements. So they're going to stay on the fence and stay put. So time will tell. We'll see what these new mortgage changes do. I'll keep you posted on it. As always, I'm Owen Bigland. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.